What's up? It's your favorite Northern Belle, aka it's your girl Jor, and welcome back to another episode of So Hear Me Out the podcast. Last week we discussed our relationship boundaries, right? Our self care and not losing ourselves in the relationships, not forgetting about ourselves. And we're kind of trickling into taking care of ourselves again in this episode um, because we're talking about our corporate boundaries. Shout out to all the corporate cuties and shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there. But this one is specifically for the corporate cuties. So, personally, me myself, if you are new here, I work in HR and that is my niche. That's what I enjoy. If I had to pick like a specific part of HR, it would be diversity, equity, and inclusivity. That would be my niche, but nevertheless, I work in the field of HR. I stumbled honestly into HR in 2019, right after I had graduated and moved. I stumbled into HR by working with Target in their HR department, and I've stayed in HR since. So, no, not a very long time, but I've seen enough to give you guys, of course, my experience with being a corporate cutie. So, there's just certain things that I feel like I've had the luxury to not experience, but then I got to this company, right? So, if you guys don't know, I did say that I love what I do. I love my job, and there are the ups and downs that come with literally everything. However, there are some things that I feel like as a Black woman, I experience a lot. So I am a part of the natural hair community. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And for me, I don't always wear my hair out. For one, my hair is thick, it gets tangled very easily, and I never took time to really understand and get to know my curls really. So when I do wear my hair out, it's usually in a fro, or even with this week, I did two stranded twists because I just didn't feel like needing to mess with my hair every day. So, one time, while at work, I had my fro out, and this white man who works for my company told me that it looked like I stuck my finger in an electric socket. So, of course, it was a real record scratch moment. Like, excuse me, sir, what'd you say to me? And especially because you would think because of my title, I'm a little more protected from these kind of things, or at least so I thought. So, I answered the question, well, the remark with, "Oh, yeah?" I was like, "You do know that could be offensive to someone who looks like me." And the man was like, "Oh, no, I never meant it to be offensive. I just meant to say, your hair just looks like you just rolled out of bed, like you didn't care." And for me, I think that was one of the first times that someone had indirectly called me Black at work. Um, because I get a lot of comments, but none of them usually have to do with my race. Normally it's because I'm young. I'm a young professional, I'm a young woman professional, but never really have to talk about the fact that I'm a Black professional. I honestly, I think I've said it before, I never had to be told that I was Black, right? I never had to have that scarring moment where I realized that, oh shoot, I'm Black. So, I went to schools where people were predominantly Black. I went to an HBCU, shout out NSU, behold the green and gold, period. um, I've always surrounded myself with people who look like me. And for the first time in a very, very long time or ever, I felt uncomfortable in my skin. So, not in the fact that I was a woman, but the fact that I was a Black woman. So, my corporate cutie first experience with my first salary job was the fact that someone really didn't understand the fact that I, a Black woman, wear my hair in different ways. Now, I've gotten the comments before, oh, nice hair. Did you change your hair? Did you cut your hair? Did you grow your hair? Things like that, because most of the time it's men that I work with and they don't really know unless they have wives that look like me. um, so I get those questions. Those questions are fine to me. I love educating people about my hair, about me, my culture. And I love learning about other people's culture. However, this one instance did rub me the wrong way completely. like I said previously, being a young woman is also something that people tend to point out first. Now, you guys don't know, here's a recruiting hack. Take your graduation year out of your resume, because that's just another thing that someone's going to point out, right? Oh, they graduated in 2019, they graduated 2018, they graduated 2020. Unless that job is specifically looking for you to be a recent graduate, take your graduation year out of your resume. Because these big companies, they want people who are seasoned and seniored, and they want what they want. And sometimes what they want is filtered out by a robot who doesn't see the potential just because of this one marking. So that's just a helpful hint. But in being young, excuse me, people oftentimes tell me, you're so young, you have time to grow. You have time to change your job. You have time to experience life. You have time. You're so young, right? Those are the things that I hear on a daily basis. And I continue to correct people when they say that I am young and tell them that my bills don't get a discount just because I'm quote unquote young. So moving forward from that, I typically try to get people to understand that that can be offensive, right? You're so young. Oh my gosh, right? And for most older women, it's a compliment. Oh, girl, she called me young. Thank you so much. How young do I look, right? For me, I don't really care if you guys think I look older or not. I more or less care if you guys are satisfied and impressed by the quality of work that I'm doing. Something else with climbing the ladder and playing the game is that when you're young, people don't believe that you have boundaries or that you've experienced as much life as you probably already have. So for me, I always get opportunities from my boss, who is really my sponsor, to do different things to get my name out there in our company. However, sometimes it does feel like, am I playing this game to win, or am I playing this game by somebody else's rules, right? For example, when guests come or when visitors come, I'm always expected to be the poster child for perfection, right? I'm supposed to be the perfect little HR and do what I'm supposed to do and yada, yada, yada. But I didn't land this job being that way, so I will not ever be that way. Because, you know what they say, everything that's done in the dark comes to the light. And that's my personality. As much as I want to be this laid back, go with the flow person, that's not me. I'm a stickler for things, and I love when things are organized and perfect typically. So I hate that the corporate ladder can be so short or so rickety, right? It's so very old with some of these companies that are not functioning in a way that we're typically used to. So getting people along with the times and keeping your authenticity and keeping your corporate cutie suit on can be very hard for young Black professionals, especially Black women professionals. So we've experienced and we've been introduced to or given titles to different things, right? Quiet quitting is something that's been super big, right? So that's basically where you shut everything off, right? You're over the topness and you're staying late and, sticking to the grind and doing things so much, right? You cut that off. You basically don't talk. You do what you're supposed to do and you go home. I am not going to lie. I have been a quiet quitter for a very long time, and not just in the professional, but in my personal too. I love silent treatment, but I did quiet quit at one point, and it was because I was experiencing burnout. And when you are trying to climb the corporate ladder, it's very easy for you to feel like, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that I'm burnt out. I shouldn't say that I'm tired, even though I am. I shouldn't say that this is a lot of work and I know that I can do it, but I need the rest of the day to just get my mental together, when that's okay to do that. We oftentimes just don't know how to express ourselves in a way that people are going to understand, because yes, there are bosses, there are terrible people out there who are just like, oh, you're tired? I've been working here for 45 years and I've never missed a day, right? And we can't expect that to change immediately. It's okay to agree to disagree, but you have to do what's best for you. And for some people, my heart goes out to you, where you feel like quiet quitting is the only way that you're going to make it through your job. You deserve nothing but the best and all the happiness in the world. So if that means brushing up on your resume and taking an extra hour, before you go to bed to brush up on your resume, apply to some jobs, do that. Because we need you to be 100% and to enjoy the building that you walk into. Another theme that is similar, a cousin to quiet quitting, is acting your wage, right? So we see things, it's very easy to get public knowledge things, right? So you can go on Glassdoor, you can go on betterbusinessbureau.com, and you can see how much people are getting paid to do your exact job somewhere else. And if, let's say, I work in HR, so someone at another company is getting paid $75,000 compared to what I get paid, or 75,000 more than what I get paid. It's very easy to feel like, oh, they're getting exactly what I'm like. We're doing the same thing. Our functions are the same. Our job is the same. And I'm getting shorted 75,000. That's crazy. So you want to act your wage. You stop doing things that you feel like are out of your job description. You stop performing in a way that's not, what they're used to. It's very lackluster, very lukewarm. You stop caring, essentially, and you just start doing what the essential job functions are. That is something that I have a hard time navigating, right? Because you want to act your wage, but you also want to act like you're getting ready for the position that you want. So for me, if I said that my goal is to, lead a diversity, equity, and inclusivity team, I need to focus on those things, right? I need to build that gap and build that bridge, but I also need to act my wage, right? So maybe for you, if you're in the HR field, that means that maybe you need to go to some panels and listen to things. You need to do some more research on what they're doing in this spectrum, or maybe you should just start consulting on your own end for another smaller company and start growing and getting your resume together so that people are aware of you. And then when the time comes, you can sell yourself, right? Or let's say you work anywhere else, but you want to get to that next step. You have to better yourself, right? But you also have to take care of what's going on with you in the current moment. So it's hard to gauge, hard to keep track of, honestly, because for someone like me, like I said, my true colors will show. I do things a certain way. I enjoy how things get done when I do them. And because I am a very me, I, it's hard for me to ask for help, and it's hard for me to understand that acting your wage, quote unquote, is a thing. I guess that's a very old school thing for me. You show up to work, you work hard, you go home to your family, and that's what I do. But of course, I have dreams and aspirations. But there is also a time when you have to draw the line and you need to express your boundaries very clearly. Even if that means you have to reiterate them every chance you get, you need to, reiterate your boundaries. Another thing that I know everyone deals with, no matter what their job is, no matter what they're doing or anywhere in life, is an imposter syndrome. And you sometimes feel guilty when you're being praised for doing all that you do, right? People are appreciating you, telling you thank you. They want to give you awards and plaques and all this stuff. And you feel like, I don't even feel like I'm doing nearly enough, right? I don't feel like I can handle this caseload, right? I don't feel like I can handle this workload. And it's okay to feel like that, but you have to get out of your head, right? You feel like you're not good enough, but I know that you could be, and you know that you could be, and you probably are way more than what you think. You are your own worst critic, though, so keep that in mind. I guess the next thing that I would touch on would be the tips and tricks of navigating your corporate cutie ways. So confidence is something that can be taught, right? You can fake it till you make it, right? Just the same way that they have a 75 hard challenge, the same way that they have, no spin, no shave November, all that stuff. You can create something to go toward your confidence, right? Doing something that makes you feel confidence, or doing something confident, or doing something that makes you feel like you're out of your comfort zone, right? So for me, this month I said it was no excuse November. So I sat down, I planned out all the meals for the month, I planned out my content for the month, and I just decided to go for it. I've been waking up early in the morning to go to the gym. I haven't missed a week of going to the gym yet. And yes, I only go 5 days a week, but it is enough for me to feel like I'm doing something to boost my confidence. I'm not very secure in my natural hair, but I decided to do something different and wear it, and it made me a lot more confident. It made me feel good about myself. So doing those kind of things and creating a goal, a path, is how I feel like you would grow your confidence. And even lean on people who you feel like are so confident that you want to have that, and just lean on them and get their advice and sometimes take their tips and tricks. Another thing that kind of leans into confidence and getting other people's advice is a mentor and a sponsor, right? So a sponsor is someone who's going to put you out there. They're going to give you these opportunities and put your name in these different rooms and different places, right? A mentor is someone who's going to guide you through those things. And it's important to know the difference and to have one of each in your life. So for me, my mentor, I don't even know if she knows this. My mentor is my aunt. She works in HR. She guides me through things. I feel like if I ever needed to ask a question regarding HR, she would be someone who I would ask and she would help me through. My boss is my sponsor. He's put my name in different rooms. He's given me different access to different things and has given me full control to run different projects and to be able to put my name on the forefront. So that's my sponsor and that's my mentor. It's important to have one of each and to know the difference. So while you're sitting there thinking about what you want to do and where you're thinking about going, try to enlist and get someone to be your mentor and your sponsor. And sometimes you don't have to ask them to be your mentor and your sponsor. You just got to take the opportunity and turn them into that without even telling them. And then later on, when you make it big, you can mention them in a speech. Don't always lean into the negativity. It is easy for your life to feel like a shit show. It is easy for you to say, I hate this job, I don't want to go, yada, yada. But it's okay. You have to lean out of that and jump into something positive. Do something that's good for you, right? Good for your mental health, good for your mental space. And just start afresh. Do something for you and lean out of the negativity and try not to be the person who's the bearer of bad news. We already know that one person that comes around and you're like, oh God, if we talk, they're going to say something about something negative or they're going to bring up something that's going to piss me off. Stay away from that person or just try to be a shining light as much as you can. And yes, it's okay to go to your car and have a little scream fest. It's okay to go to the bathroom and just sit there in silence if you need it, but try to be the positive light. Also, no isn't always no, if that makes sense. No sometimes means not right now, not this opportunity, not in this moment. So you have to be able to use your discernment to say, this is not for me right now, but I think something like this would be for me. And use the no if you're interviewing and they say they don't want you. Use that as an opportunity to say, I appreciate the time to interview with you, yada, yada. What exactly were you looking for in a candidate? And that'll be the time when you're allowing yourself to see a little bit more of the interview process. Because sometimes people do eventually tell you, hey, it's because of this. Or even when you send your thank you email for an interview or text or phone call, whatever it is that however you got connected, you can easily highlight your attributes and your excitement for the position. And sometimes that's what gets you actually a second thought for that company or for a different role. And make room for yourself. What does that mean, right? So make room for you. It's very easy to that imposter syndrome to attack you when you feel most vulnerable, right? So it's very easy for you to feel like, oh, I shouldn't do this. I'm not good enough for that. That's not going to work because I'm not good enough. And you have to make room for you. So for me, that means I make room for me in many ways. I try to make sure that I'm doing stuff that makes me happy in and outside of work. I allow myself time to grow and I allow myself the space to grow. I try to use my discernment as much as possible to decide this is good, this is bad, this needs improvement. And it honestly helps so much. And even if it means that you need to budget to get new clothes to dress the role that you want, it's perfectly fine. Do that and make room for yourself because No one else is going to do that for you. Literally no one else. Even if your sponsor is putting you in rooms of people who you could easily network with, if you don't open up your mouth and you don't actually do it, nothing good is going to come of it. So, in a nutshell, to my corporate cuties, it is okay. You're going to be A-okay. It's hard. You will struggle, but you'll be fine. Make room for yourself. Live in your confidence. No isn't always no. And find you a mentor and a sponsor ASAP. That is the key to success right now. Find one, and sometimes don't even give them the idea. Don't christen them out loud. Give it to them in your head mentally. And make sure it's someone that is in your field, or not even in your field, but they're doing well for themselves and that have some type of net worth where they can put you in these situations. That's it for me. So if you guys have any resume tips or know any sponsors that might be looking to sponsor people, or mentors that's looking out there, or you're even interested in that, let me know down below and help your brothers and sisters out in corporate cutie land. It's been real. It's been fun. I'll hear you guys out for another one. Peace out. Bye.